Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ben Wong, clinical counselor from Vancouver. This is your Mindful Digitality webcast for Monday. It's Motivational Monday, and for the sake of motivation, how about if we increase our knowledge slightly about the topic of gaming disorder, about the topic of problem video gaming? Let's talk about what makes the digital platform so attractive. Okay, why so attractive? Oh, that's the best Heath Ledger impersonation I could do. So why so attractive? Why is it so attractive? We know that people, especially young kids, especially young children, as soon as they get used to having their own digital platform in front of them, be it a tablet, a phone, a gaming console, it's very, very, very hard for them to put down. Okay, and it's not just for young kids, for adults too. Many of us can experience this feeling of getting hooked. So what about the digital platform that hooks the person so well? Okay, so in my experience working with people, I've observed roughly there are six identifiable features about screens, about the electronic screen, that captures the user's attention to the extent that we observe. Okay, so the first feature is autonomy. Okay, autonomy. The digital platform, screens and so forth, they allow the person to do pretty much whatever they want to. They're their own boss. Okay, they feel so in control when in front of a screen, which gives them a sense of control, of course, sense of being in charge. Okay, and most importantly, a sense of just not needing to be accountable to anybody. Okay, they can make their own decisions. They decide how, what, when, with whom to do things, with whom to connect. They've got full control, and that's important. That's important for most people, I would imagine, right? The sense of control. And without a sense of control, we often just squirm and just not feel comfortable. Okay, so the first feature, autonomy. The second is anonymity. Anonymity. Think about this. Even if as you go about your day-to-day digital activities, even if on social media or on certain online profiles, if you include your actual name and date of birth and some factual information about yourself, there still is tons of information about you, especially the nonverbal ones, that you're able to withhold and not share and not be entirely transparent to the world through the screen. Okay, so you've got a lot of control, which relates to the issue of autonomy too. You've got a lot of control over who you are, how much about who you are you're willing to share with people, whether it's individually or whether it's on a platform where a lot of other online users have access to that information. Okay, so the issue of anonymity is important. This is what enables people to go online and often feel a lot safer than compared to going through face-to-face, eye-to-eye relational transactions. Okay, so that's the second. The third is the feature of reward mechanism. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but oftentimes we see that game developers or website developers, they actually use the most cutting edge of psychological science in designing the content and designing how the functionality of these online content in keeping users engaged. And oftentimes what they do, their dynamics, they're there set up to arrange in a certain algorithmic fashion. That's a fancy term for just the process, just a program of it, to capture the user's attention by tricking their brains, by tricking their brain, and specifically by tricking their brain's dopaminergic circuit. Okay, and you guessed it right. The dopaminergic circuit is the circuit that that operates with dopamine, the neurotransmitter, as the key ingredient. And dopamine, as we know, is the neurotransmitter responsible for pleasure. It's the neurotransmitter responsible for elation, as well as for motivation. So once tricked, the person becomes very, very engaged and pays a lot of attention to, almost in a needful way, for that particular digital activity. As I mentioned, it could be a game, it could be a website, it could be a social media platform, it could be anything with sights and sounds that dazzle the person on the screen. Okay, so that's the third reward mechanism. The fourth, slightly related to reward mechanism, is a preference or a culture of choosing consistently over and over again activities that are of low effort and high reward in nature. Okay, low reward and high effort. I keep mixing those up. Low effort, low effort and high reward. if when facing a group of fifth graders, okay, if you offer them activities of varying different difficulties, you will invariably find that they would choose the easier activities over the harder activities in which they do not have to put in as much effort as they perceive, compared to activities in which they feel they need to put in a lot of effort in order to learn, in order to gain, to reap the benefits, in order to enjoy the experience. That's exactly what I'm talking about. A culture of low effort and higher reward. And with digital activities, we find that because many of the activities are gamified. So social media, for example, that's a gamification of socializing, of socializing with people, of getting together and communicating with people. So the gamification, how activities are being gamified online, on screen, they become something of a low effort endeavor. You don't have to invest a whole lot into it. In fact, with IT, within the IT world, there's this concept of user friendliness. Okay, things are getting easier and easier and easier to learn to do online or on digital platforms. So low effort and high reward. That's the fourth feature. The fifth feature is realism. Realism. And by realism, I'm not just referring to what appeals to the eyes, to the human eyes being real. Sight is only one of the senses that digital content developers consider. Now, in this day and age, we've moved into the era of VR, virtual reality, and that's exactly what I'm referring to. That not just the eyesight, but sounds, okay, but hearing, the person's hearing as a sense, touching, proprioception, smell, even perhaps somewhere down the road, right? All of the human senses, all 6 human senses, the digital content developers will aim to trigger in order to give this realism, this realistic sense of being in sort of that reality. So the reality is virtual, but it feels real. Hence the term virtual reality. Okay, so that's the fifth feature. The last feature, the sixth feature, is, for the lack of a better word, preoccupation. A sense of busyness, a sense of preoccupation. There's this movement. There's this thought of being able to the ability to multitask, almost being pushed to the status of a virtue. Okay, multitasking. Well, now we know, and there's been increasing research pointing to the understanding that multitasking may not be the best for anyone. There were studies that have come out since 3 years ago suggesting that multitasking actually drains the brain's resources more than we expect, and that we may be doing a lot of different things, but we're only doing a lot of different things with not so much of a depth in understanding or depth in engagement. So there you have them, the 6 features of the digital platform, of digital online platform that make it attractive. Okay, let's do a quick review. The first, autonomy. Second, anonymity. Third, reward mechanism. Fourth, low effort, high reward. The fifth is realism. And the sixth, preoccupation / busyness or / multitasking. So they combine, the way I see it, they combine to become attractive because they combine to address some of the core human needs that we experience. They satisfy some core human needs. For example, the need for attachment or acceptance, the need to feel significance, okay, the need to feel a sense of impact. So all of these are there, and that explains why when a person's hooked, they really are hooked. They really, to say they may not know that they're in a situation where they're hooked and addicted, and it's much like any other addiction. When a person's deep into it, they don't have the category that they simply lack the ability to get out of it. Okay, which is why when we once assessed for the person to be struggling with digital dependency, it's very important to exert a good level of compassion. Okay, be very compassionate towards that person. People struggling with them, they need to be very compassionate towards themselves in the course of their recovery if they do seek so. Hope this has been helpful. This is Motivation Monday on our webcast, Mindful Digitality Webcast. I am Benjamin Wong, your clinical counselor for this webcast. If you want to stay engaged and in touch, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.